Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Lucimus Prime here, so it's time for another franchise ranking video. Today, guys, I'm going to be ranking the movies in a franchise, which is actually based on one of my video game franchises, and guys, I'm going to be ranking the movies for the Mortal Kombat franchise. So for those you don't know, there are 3 live-action Mortal Kombat movies and 2 animated ones, and I'm going to be ranking all of them from best to worst in my personal opinion. So if you guys don't scream, that's absolutely fine, but please respect my opinion just like I respect yours. Okay, so starting with what is my all-time favourite Mortal Kombat movie ever, I'm going to definitely go where I singled out with Mortal Kombat, released in 1995, directed by Paul Anderson. So yeah, now, so the good part about this is, I think this has a really perfect cast for characters in live action. I really do. I really loved Christopher Lambert as Raiden. He was great as Raiden, perfectly cast in my opinion. Robin Shou as Liu Kang, also perfectly cast, and also Lyndon Ashby as Johnny Cage was really entertaining and funny, definitely a great addition to the cast. And Bridget Wilson as Sonya Blade. Bridget Wilson was so badass as Sonya, she really was. She was brilliant, she did all her own stunts as well, guys, which were pretty amazing in her fight scenes. It was really good. Talisa Soto was also great as Kitana, she was really amazing in the role. I did also love Trevor Goddard, rest in peace, as Kano. He was also perfectly cast in the role. Really great in the role. And played him so well. I also as well did love Chris Casamassa as Scorpion, but I did love how his voice was dubbed by Ed Boon, who is, who actually does a voice for Scorpion's famous line being, "Get over here!" So I did love how he got to voice Scorpion, which was pretty cool. I also as well did like Francois Petit as Sub-Zero as well, and also Keith Cook as Reptile, who was actually voiced by Frank Welker, guys. Frank Welker did the Reptile's vocal effects, which was pretty awesome. And I also did love a villain, guys, which was Shang Tsung, played by Kazuhiro Kitagawa. Kazuhiro Kitagawa was also perfectly cast as Shang Tsung. I can't imagine any actor playing Shang Tsung better than him in anything, really, in voice acting, because he, of course, voiced him in Mortal Kombat 11, guys. I can't imagine any actor playing Shang Tsung better than Kazuhiro Kitagawa, in my opinion. I also did love as well how, I also love the fight scenes, guys. They were really entertaining to watch. I really loved them. Really fun. I also as well did also love the addition of Goro, another villain, guys. The puppetry for him was really amazing, and he looked really good in the movie, all the practical effects, and he was played by Tom Woodruff Jr. in costume, in the puppetry, who was, I think it was puppetry or in a costume, yeah. And he played him so well, guys, and I also know him for playing the Xenomorph in the Alien franchise in costume, and he was really good in that role as them. That's probably my favourite role of him, but he was really great as Goro in this. Did also love how he's voiced by Michael Richardson, and just like Kazuhiro Kitagawa, I can't imagine anyone playing Goro better than Michael Richardson, to be honest, because of course he was perfectly in the role, very scary as well, very booming voice. I loved his voice. And as another fun fact, guys, you know how movie has a cameo appearance by director of Johnny Cage's movie, who was played by Sandy Hellberg. As a fun fact, guys, it was originally meant to be a cameo by Steven Spielberg, but he couldn't appear due to scheduling conflicts, but yeah, oh well. And nevertheless, it was still a great movie, and I also did love the music as well, guys, by George S. Clinton. And I did also love the inclusion of a very famous song by the Immortals called Techno Syndrome, which I consider to be the Mortal Kombat theme, because it's such an iconic theme, guys, one of my favourite video game themes of all time, dun 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 dun. Really great song, absolutely. So I give this movie, guys, a full-blown 10 out of 10, I don't care what any, haters would say or people who dislike the movie would say, because I love the movie, I really do love it, guys. I don't see any problem with it, I mean, I guess I could say that I prefer some of the video game voices over live-action cast, to be honest, although all of the cast of this movie were perfectly cast, in my opinion. And it made me love the characters a lot more, yeah. And it was such and it had many iconic themes, and, many different features from the games, nice little references to the games, which was really awesome. I did love that. I really appreciate them doing that. And yeah. Now, my second favourite Mortal Kombat movie, guys, we're going into animation now, guys. So my second favourite is Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms, released actually in last year, guys, in August 31st, yeah. In 2021, directed by Ethan Spalding, and I give this movie a 9 out of 10 because I thought it was once again really good. And so what I love is I really do love the voice cast of its movie, guys. Like, for example, probably the main highlight is I do love how Patrick Stewart reprises his role as Scorpion. Because when it comes to, like, voice acting, I can't imagine any voice actor voicing Scorpion better than Patrick Stewart. As far as I'm concerned, guys, he always will be Scorpion to me, no matter what. In my opinion, he was, perfectly cast as Scorpion. Absolutely. Perfectly. And also, when it comes to other cast as well, I did also love how Matthew Mercer reprised his role as Stryker for the first time in 10 years since Mortal Kombat 9, which was pretty awesome that he came back to a role. And I also as well did love the other castings. Many cast members were brand new who've not played them in the games before. For example, Joel McHale as Johnny Cage was really funny. He's really funny as Johnny, but personally, guys, I prefer Andrew Bowen from the games, and of course Lyndon Ashby from the first movie from 1995. Jordan Rodriguez was also really good as Liu Kang as well, and pretty good in the role. And David Mitchell was also really good as Raiden as well. And he also reprised as well as Sector from Mortal Kombat 11, and he was for Kintaro as well. Jennifer Carpenter was also really good as Sonya Blade as well, and Ike Amadi was also really good as Jax Briggs as well. Well, personally, guys, I think I prefer probably Greg Eagles in terms of, voice acting, but Ike Amadi wasn't a bad choice for a role in my opinion. He was really good in the role. But personally, I prefer Greg Eagles. I also did like Art Butler as Shang Tsung, but I of course prefer Karihoki Tagawa from the live-action movie. Greg Griffin was also really good as Kitana as well. Robert Atkinson was also really good as Shinnok as well. And Matthew Yanking was also really good as Kung Lao as well. I also love the animation, guys. The animation, in my opinion, was really good. It was absolutely brilliant animation. Really amazing animation. The fight scenes were also brilliant. And I love how this game stayed faithful. It stayed faithful to the games by being so brutal. I did love that. Like, there were so many fatalities in it. It was pretty brutal. The music was also really good as well. And I love the whole idea of a tournament. It was really awesome. And the big battle. It was very exciting. And I also as well did love Shao Kahn in this. He was a great villain. He was voiced by Fred Tarshaw. He was really good. But my personal favourite voice of Shao Kahn is probably Ike Amadi from Mortal Kombat 11. And also, there's several others too I do also like as well, who voiced him. But yeah, I think Ike Amadi is my favourite one. But Fred Tarshaw was really good in this movie, actually. Very good in the role. And however, when it comes to bad qualities, when it comes to the return of Cyrax and Sector, I didn't really like the voices that much because they added some sort of weird effects to the voices, and they sounded a bit like Cybermen from Doctor Who a little bit. It's funny that because they're quite similar, being that they were once humans, but they put into metallic robotic bodies, cyber bodies, just like the Cybermen in Doctor Who, but still. I wish they didn't have that weird effect to the voices, and it's also quite disappointing because David Mitchell reprises his role as Sector in Mortal Kombat 11, So I was hoping they'd have the same voices they had him in media. And also when it comes to Cyrax, guys, he was not voiced by Ike Amadi like in Mortal Kombat 11. He was voiced by Art Butler, who voices Shang Tsung. So like I'm thinking, Ike Amadi's in the movie as Jax, so why couldn't he voice Cyrax, But nonetheless, well, guys, this is still a great movie, and I give it a 9 out of 10. Now, my third favourite, guys, is the first animated movie released a year before what I've just covered, which is Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge. This was released in April 2020 on a direct-to-video release, directed by Ethan Spalding, just like he directed Battle Realms. So, yeah. And I give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. So, the good qualities is, once again, the voice cast is still really good in the role. So like, those who were in Battle Realms, they previously were in this movie, like Patrick Stewart as Scorpion, and Jordan Rodriguez as Liu Kang, David Mitchell as Raiden, Joel McHale as Johnny Cage, Jennifer Carpenter as Sonya, Ike Amadi as Jax, and Art Butler as Shang Tsung, and many others as well. And I also love as well, guys, how Karen Michael Richardson actually reprised his role as Goro from the 1995 movie, because like with Patrick Stewart as Scorpion, I can't imagine anyone voicing Goro better than Karen Michael Richardson, guys. So I'm very glad he got the chance to reprise his role in this movie. He was once again great in the role. Although he didn't really talk until towards the end of the movie, sadly, guys, which was disappointing, but oh well. And also, when it comes to other good qualities, animation is once again great as all, in both movies. It's definitely great in this one. I love the fight scenes, and I do love the story, guys, about Scorpion wanting revenge, and it was really, really good. And Quan Chi was also a great villain, guys. And I think Darren DePaul's probably my favourite voice of Quan Chi because of his movie, because he was so great in the role, very menacing. And I did love the revenge story where he impersonated Sub-Zero to look as though he was killing Scorpion's son, Satoshi. But yeah, it was a very good story, actually. Yeah, really good. And the twist where it's revealed that Sub-Zero wasn't involved at all, but Quan Chi was impersonating him was a pretty good plot twist, was executed really well. And I love how the ending also set up a sequel by having Shao Kahn make an appearance. It was really good to see Shao Kahn appear. So it did a very good job setting up a sequel, but the bad qualities is, when it comes to Sub-Zero, guys, while it was great to see Steve Plum reprising his role as him, although he was Bi-Han in this movie instead of Kuai Liang, like he does in the games, I feel like Sub-Zero was really underused, guys, because he only appears in only a few scenes. He only appears when Quan Chi impersonates him and he kills Satoshi. But he doesn't appear again until much later when Scorpion finds the real Sub-Zero and kills him, unaware that it wasn't actually him that killed his son. It was actually Quan Chi in disguise as him. So yeah, I feel Sub-Zero was really underused, guys. And of course, when it comes to voice acting, many voices I do prefer in the games. Like, I of course prefer Andrew Boyd as Johnny Cage and Richard Epker as Raiden. And many others for Sonya, like Ronda Rousey, for example, in Mortal Kombat 11. And also Tricia Helfer in Mortal Kombat 10 as well. Mortal Kombat X. And of course, Greg Eagles as Jax as well. And several others too. Like, also Karen Strassman as Kitana. Oh, well, Greg Griffin was great in the role in this movie and its sequel. It was also pretty funny how we got a camera appearance by Daffy Duck in the opening, yeah. Just like when Batman, we got a camera appearance by Shaggy, which was pretty awesome, in reference to that famous meme. That was really funny. But yeah, so I give this movie, guys, an 8.5 out of 10, you know. Still a really good movie, but, you know, the bad qualities, you know, like I said, was Sub-Zero was pretty underused, and also some of what I guess I prefer in the games. So yeah. Now, my fourth favourite, guys, would have to be the Mortal Kombat 2021 reboot, released in April last year, on April the 8th internationally. And I give this movie, guys, a 7 out of 10, directed by Simon McQuaid. Yeah. So, now this movie, guys, you know, I think it is, you know, watchable and, you know, and pretty good, I guess. But I do have plenty of issues with it, you know, plenty of nitpicks, which is why I give it 7 out of 10 and not 10 out of 10 like the 995 one, or the animated ones, so the good qualities is, I do like the fight scenes. I do like when the movie opens with a fight scene with Scorpion in action fighting Hanzo Asashi in action. It was really good to see. And also many other fight scenes as well. They did a very good job with the choreography. It was really good. And the acting, I guess, was also good by the main cast as well. Absolutely. You know, they did the best we could what we were given. Absolutely, to work with. And Kung Lao was also really entertaining to watch as well. And so was Cabal as well. They were definitely a great addition to the cast of characters. They were entertaining. Raiden was also pretty good as well, actually. Played by Tadanobu Asano, but I prefer Christopher Lambert, to be honest. And it was really good to see. And Sub-Zero also played in a pretty big role, so played by Joe Aslim as well. Pretty good to see. And this was Bi-Han's version as well, guys. It was really good to see. And Sonya Blade was also really good, played by Jessica McNamee as well. You know, she played Sonya really well, Jessica McNamee. She was really good. Josh Lawson was also good as Kano as well, but I prefer Trevor Goddard, to be honest, guys. I prefer Trevor. And I do love as well, guys, how the credits included Techno Syndrome in the credits, like a new remix of Techno Syndrome. I did love that, guys. Which and Benjamin in Wallfish did a good job composing music, and James Wan produced it, so I did love that, how he produced it. And yeah, but it was really nice to hear Techno Syndrome in the credits. It's a very iconic song, very iconic. However, the bad qualities I will say, guys, is that my biggest complaint with the movie, guys, is I don't like the addition of a random character who never appeared in the games called Cole as a main character. You know, like, I don't understand why they had to include, like, a random character who we've never met before as a main character, rather than make it focus on a character we've grown up with, you know, like Scorpion, for example. And in my opinion, Cole was pretty bland as well, guys, you know, not very memorable in my opinion. Didn't really like Cole that much. Like, in my opinion, we should have made Scorpion the main character. But speaking of Scorpion, guys, I really hated how Scorpion was pretty underused in the movie, because he only appears at the start of the movie in a pretty good fight scene when he gets killed by Bi-Han. And then he doesn't appear again until towards the end of the movie when he's resurrected as Scorpion. So I feel they're really underused as Scorpion, but Hiroki Sanada was still good as him with what he was given him a screen time, but, I wish he had more screen time. At least he got to say, get over here, when he came back as Scorpion, so that was pretty good to hear. And I also feel Goro was also really underused as well, guys, and didn't have much screen time, and didn't really like the new design that much. I prefer how he's in the 1995 movie, and when it comes to a voice, I didn't really like Angus Sampson that much as Goro. Like, I don't think he was as scary as Michael Richardson, so I prefer Kevin's voice far more, to be honest. Like, I think his voice is way better than Angus's. And of course, guys, I also did not like the absence of Johnny Cage either, because Johnny did not appear in the movie, which was shocking. So, yeah. I wish he'd appeared, but, I think the ending of the movie was going to set it up as, like, a potential sequel. So, yeah. It is possible that a sequel could happen. So, yeah. So, hopefully, Johnny will appear in the sequel, because this grossed $83.6 million worldwide. So, yeah. And it became HBO Max's most successful film launch to date. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm hoping they might do a sequel with Johnny in, and the better cast a great actor in the role, yeah, because it's hard for me to decide who could play Johnny better than Lyndon Ashby, to be honest, because I thought he was perfectly cast as him. So, yeah, now, this movie was, good, guys, and may not have been perfect, but guys, it is definitely way better than the next movie we're about to cover. And, guys, in last place, and definitely in least place, is, in my opinion, the worst Mortal Kombat movie ever, which is Mortal Kombat Annihilation, released in 1997, and oh my god. This movie, directed by John R. Leonetti, right, in my opinion, guys, is probably the second worst movie I've ever seen in my life after Phantom Force Stick, ever. Like, this movie was so bad. Like, it lacked what made the first movie from 1995 so memorable. It really did, because it was so terrible. So, but when it comes to good qualities, the only good qualities I can say is the music by George S. Clinton was still good, I guess. And I like how Techno Syndrome was still in the intro. We got to say Techno Syndrome again. And I guess Edwin Ross and Scorpion was also a good thing as well, where he says, get over here. But yeah. That's probably about it for good qualities, and on to the bad qualities. There's so many of them, I've got to say, right? So, probably the worst thing about the movie, guys, is probably I really hated the entire cast as their characters and the script. Like, the cast and the script was just horrendous, in my opinion. Like, the characters, like, I didn't even have a favourite character in the movie, guys. I did not have a favourite character at all. So, like, and what's sad, guys, is only 2 actors returned from the first movie, guys, which is Robin Shou as Liu Kang and Taisa Sato as Kitana. But, guys, they were so bland and boring in this movie. They were nowhere near as good as they were in the first movie. I don't know why. The script was just horrendous. I also heard, guys, that production was so bad because, many cast members declined to return because they hated the script. For example, Chris Lambert hated the script. So did Lyndon Ashby. And some actors also declined to return due to working on other projects as well. For example, Jax appears in the movie, guys, and he was going to play by Michael J. White, but Michael J. White declined so he could play Spawn in the 1997 movie. He definitely dodged a bullet, in my opinion. And thankfully, he played Jax in a much better thing called Mortal Kombat Rebirth for short film, so yeah. And that was way better than this, but yeah. I won't be including it on my ranking because it's a short film. I won't include, films, not short films or video games or whatever, guys, so yeah. And, also, when it comes as well to other cast members, I definitely think James Bramwell was so inferior as Raiden compared to Chris Lambert. He was so inferior to Chris Lambert's performance. And Sandra Hess as Sonya Blade was also terrible in the role because compared to bad as Sonya was in the first movie, she was such a whiny in this movie. She complained all the time, whining. She was nowhere near the badass as she was in the first movie at all. They really ruined Sonya in this movie, guys. I also did not like Brian Thompson as Shao Kahn. Miscasting in my opinion. They should have brought Frank Welker as him at the end of the first movie, but nope. And also, in my opinion, guys, when it comes as well to Johnny Cage, oh yeah, this is onto a bad quality we'll have with Johnny because not only did we recast him with, an actor who was nowhere near as good as Lyndon Ashby or Andrew Bowie, not any other actor, right? In the first couple of minutes of the movie, guys, Johnny is absolutely wasted and killed off. Like, that was a very dumb move, guys. That's probably when the movie died, in my opinion, how they killed off Johnny. That was a very dumb move. I was furious about that. So he was incredibly wasted. And the actor who plays him, called Chris Conrad, is nowhere near as good as Lyndon Ashby or even as good as Andrew Bowie, not any other actor who's played Johnny ever. Whoever cast Johnny better be better than him in a sequel to a 2021 reboot. Whoever it cast, he definitely should be better, hopefully. And the script was also horrendous, like I said, guys. And don't get me started on Sindel's line she said to Kitana when she says, "Too bad you will die." Ugh, I hate that line. God, it was so bad and poorly delivered as well. Oh. Also, in my opinion, guys, the visuals and the CGI were also absolutely horrendous, and the special effects were so bad. Like, it literally looked like, a 1980s video game in CGI. It was so bad. Like, the CGI was nowhere near as good as it was in the first movie at all. It was so bad compared to the first movie, guys. So terrible. And, like, the scene where Liu Kang turns into I think it's, what was he turned into? I think he turned into, like a dragon sort of creature. Like, the CGI for that was absolutely terrible. I hated that. That was so bad. And also, when it comes as well to Scorpion and Sub-Zero, guys, compared to the first movie, they're also wasted, which I did not like. They were hardly in a movie, which I was disappointed about. I hated that. They hardly did much on the movie. And also, like I said about Jax, guys, he's in a movie. But, guys, what's stupid is, right, how he's got metal arms? Compared to, the animation and also the 2021 reboot and also the games, he doesn't lose his arms. He wears his metal arms as, like, mech arms. So that was just so stupid. Like, I don't know why they had to change Jax. That was just a dumb move. I also hated the design as well for Cyrax. He looks absolutely horrendous, guys. And also, didn't really like Shinnok either, how they completely changed his design as well. And Reiner Scott wasn't a good choice, in my opinion, for Shinnok. I prefer Troy Baker for Mortal Kombat X and Robin Atkin Downs for the animation. Like, goodness me, they really ruined Shinnok. And like I said before, guys, Shao Kahn was also a terrible villain, and so was Sindel as well, mainly because of that stupid line she said when Kitana says that her mother's alive. Like, honestly, this movie was just so bad. Really was. Like, definitely, in my opinion, the second worst movie I've ever seen in my life after Phantom Force Stick, because it was so bad. And probably, in my opinion, the worst movie that's based on a video game of all time, actually, guys. Like, it makes Paul W.S. Anderson's works on Resident Evil live-action movies a masterpiece compared to this. Even though they're not really good movies themselves, in my opinion, this one makes them look like a masterpiece because how terrible it is. Like, it's so horrendous. But because of the music by Tenor Syndrome returning, and also, George Clinton's music returning, I guess, that's probably what prevents it from being the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, but yeah. But how do I rank this, guys? Well, I'm going to give this movie a flat-out 0 out of 10 because, it was so terrible. I had a really bad time watching because I absolutely hated it. There was so many moments where I wanted to turn off my TV. It was so bad. Like, I hated it. Like, it was just horrendous. Like in my opinion, guys, the 9 out of 5 movie didn't need a sequel at all. It didn't need a sequel. So, yeah. Because the movie was just so terrible. But, yeah. Anyway, guys, so this week doing my ranking of Mortal Kombat movies in live-action animation. So first place will be Mortal Kombat 995. Second place will be Battle of the Realms. Third place will be Scorpion's Revenge. Fourth place will be the 2021 reboot. And last place, and definitely in least place, will be Annihilation, or as I call it, Mortal Kombat Abomination, because it is an abomination in my opinion. So, guys, this is me doing my rankings, so drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to leave comments what you guys thought of this ranking, how you'd rank the movies, how you guys would rank them. Also, be sure to join the team by subscribe for movies in the future. If you'd like to be a member, you can press join with your piece, or you can leave a description, and I'll see you all later.